This was a book where I was like, yep, that's a lie. That's a lie. It was 2 days ago. And it's Jill. Ooh. God, I gotta do my research here, man. Hi everyone, it's Audrey and welcome back to Chapter in Verse. Today's gonna be one of those videos where I just talk about a whole bunch of random things because that's the mood I'm in today. And I have been sort of dipping into TV stuff and new books and podcasts, and my mind has been all over the place these days. I feel kind of scatterboxy, and I thought, you know, let's just talk about all the scatterboxy stuff that's happening right here. Okay, so let's start things off with a book because I just finished this book and I'm legit obsessed with it. And it is The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. This is a psychological thriller that everybody's raving about. And I am someone who gets a little bit of pause when there's a lot of hype around a book. But oh my God, this did not disappoint at all. And I read this, I literally was like, nothing else in my life mattered. I basically did the bare necessities and read this book is basically what my life was like for 2 days. And it was amazing. It was amazing. Loved it. I don't want to overhype it, but I loved it. Absolutely loved it. So in a nutshell, this is definitely a book where you want to go in blind. It's the thriller. It's the what's the what. But sort of inside jacket flap, all you need to know is page 1, Alicia Berenson shoots her husband 5 times in the face and never speaks again. And 6 years later, Theo, who is a psychotherapist, is convinced that he is the person who is going to break through with Alicia, get her to talk, understand what happened that night, and help her. And he gets a job at the psychiatric unit where she is being held, basically where she's been. So she was on trial for her husband's murder, basically committed to this institution where she is with other people who have committed horrible crimes. And he is just convinced that he is going to unravel the mystery of Alicia by unraveling the mystery around her husband's murder. It's so freaking good. So I was listening to a podcast with the author Brad Meltzer, which has nothing to do with this book, but he was talking about when he crafts his thrillers and how you have to play fair with your reader. And when that sort of reveal moment happens at the end, the reader has to be able to be like, yes, I get it. It was there all along. Alex Michaelides completely played fair, and damn, he got me, guys. He got me. I am hooked. I immediately went and listened to a podcast that he did where he doesn't reveal anything about this book, but he is working on another one. This has already been optioned for a screenplay. He's actually going to write the screenplay for it. I am so curious to see how this comes to the screen. He was a screenwriter before this, but this is his first book, which is also this is your first book. I get you were a screenwriter, but I'm impressed, guys. I'm super impressed. Highly recommend it if you haven't read it. Okay, so I have been consuming probably too much TV over the past few weeks, and here's the thing that's going to annoy everyone after a while because I'm going to keep saying it. I was listening to a podcast because I'm newly obsessed with podcasts, but I filmed a whole separate video on that, so wait for it. But I was listening to a podcast and Victoria Schwab was talking about, / V.E. Schwab, the constant need to fill her creative well. And it's not just through reading. So she reads 100 books a year, but she also watches movies and TV and listens to music, and it's other creative outlets that fill your creative outlet. So she's a big fan of watching TV, but being selective about it. So maybe I could still be a little bit more selective about it, but it's about when the TV's on, you're watching it and it's not on in the background and those things, and being very sort of thoughtful and mindful about the choices that you're making. And it doesn't mean she talks about watching Parks and Rec and other shows, so she's not saying that she only watches a certain type of show that's good enough, but it's that you are making a deliberate choice when you're watching and you're actually watching it. So my first deliberate choice was to watch What If on Netflix. And I can't even talk about the show with a straight face. I need to know if anybody else is watching this show because I don't know anyone else who's watching it, and I need to talk to someone about it. I'm maybe like 7 episodes in. I don't know if there's 8 or 10. I have no idea where the show is going or when it's going to end, but like, I'm in for it. So this is Renee Zellweger, who I love. And that's what got me. Like, you get that email from Netflix. It's like, we have a new TV show you might be interested in. And I clicked on it and I saw her and I was like, yeah, I'm totally interested. But like, I've loved her in Empire Records and Bridget Jones and Chicago and Jerry Maguire. Like, I love her. I'm excited to see her in that new Judy Garland movie that she's doing. I'm a big fan. So this is sort of like this mystery noir set in San Francisco. It is, I don't know if it's like the creator or director or writer who did that TV show Revenge with, was it Emily Van Camp and Madeline Stowe, which was great. Like, season 1 of Revenge was amazing. And it's like, in all fairness, that show went a little bit off the rails at some stage, as all shows do. Had to Get Away with Murder. But I loved it. So like, and I'm in for it. I'm totally in for it. And this is like, Renee Zellweger's character is like this billionaire venture capitalist Anne Montgomery. And she, long story short, winds up funding this woman's like biotech startup, like I think it's like Imogen or Intigen or something. I don't even remember what the heck it's called. But it's this woman, Lisa, who is married to this guy, Sean, and he is a former Major League Baseball player whose career basically went to pot because he was a hot mess. And it's Sean's best friend who is married to his high school sweetheart. So Sean, the best friend, and the girl all know each other from high school. And the two guys are paramedics turned, like in the fire academy, they want to be firemen in San Francisco. The wife is a surgeon. And then Lisa, the wife of like the woman who has the biotech startup, her parents died when she was really young. So she wound up getting adopted by like it's either her nanny or her housekeeper's family. So it's her brother through that family and those parents, and then they had a sister who died of sort of, I think, like some mysterious kid illness, which is what her biotech is creating a cure for. So there's a whole lot about a whole lot. But basically it's like, you know, what if, what happens when? And Renee Zellweger's character, who is always shrouded in like it's always raining and it's dark, and her apartment is like, you know, completely like Spartan but modern, and she's always like coming up or down the stairs in some fabulous outfit. Like, she's very like Madeline Stowe-ish in the character, but she's still Renee Zellweger. But she basically makes like this weird indecent proposal deal with them where she wants a night with this woman's husband, who, mind you, I don't know if he's like 20 years younger than her, not that it matters, but she's sort of, her character is like a little bit of a cougar, I guess. And in exchange, she will fund her company. So the young, naive married couple agreed to this because their marriage can sustain anything. And like, no, it can't. Because if it could, there'd be no show. So it's all these weird things that start happening with all these people, and like their lives and the different people who come into them. But it's like, it's so bizarre. And like Toby from Pretty Little Liars is in it, and David Annabelle, who was in Brothers and Sisters and like a whole bunch of other stuff, is in it. But he's like this like McDreamy but psychotic character in it. And there is like literally a part where Lisa's brother, and he's kind of in like this open relationship, so it's like another guy that like they're both kind of seeing comes over when his boyfriend's not home, and they do like a bunch of like magic mushrooms and have like this extremely strange natural born killers type experience. And not that they're killing people, but sort of how that movie is shot type of a thing. It's just, it's so completely bizarre. I have no idea where it's going. I don't know if it's supposed to be like as campy and ridiculous as it kind of is, or if it's supposed to be sort of this Hitchcockian, dark, noir-y type of thing, because I literally can't help myself from laughing through a lot of it. And I mean, there's like a throwback where they're like watching old prom footage because they have like this mini reunion. And I think about like when they did that on Friends, when they have like the prom thing, but like they didn't even bother changing like the hair of any of these characters. Like it literally looks like they just paused what they were filming, filmed the scene from 10 years ago, and now we're back in like the current day. Like they didn't even bother like shaving off a beard or giving them a goatee or changing their hair. Like Friends got it right. Everybody looked completely different in the prom flashback. So it's just, it's so bizarre. It's so bizarre. These people have such complicated, ridiculous lives. Like I said, it's constantly raining. I know it's San Francisco, but like it ain't that bad there. Feels more like, I don't even know. I don't even know. I'm gonna finish it to the end because I can't turn it off. It is 100% a car crash that I cannot turn away from. Let me know if you're watching it. Okay, the next thing I'm watching, which is probably a little bit more respectable, is Fleabag on Amazon Prime. And this is Phoebe Waller-Bridge, so she created and stars in this. She starred in, I want to say, season 2 of Broadchurch, and she is sort of one of the creators of Killing Eve, who brought those Luke Jennings books to the screen. And I don't know if she helped write it as well. So like, I don't know, triple threat, quadruple threat. This woman can do everything and do it well. This is like this sort of British TV drama, comedy. It's not a drama, it's a comedy. It's like 25-minute episodes. It is like dry and witty and hugely inappropriate. This is definitely not going to be one for everyone. Like literally like the first scene of the first episode is like, it's definitely, you will know in that first scene, if you can't get through the first scene of this episode, of the series, just turn it off because this show is not for you. It is so funny. It is one of those shows, so she like fully breaks the fourth wall constantly. She is constantly talking to the camera. But even when she's like in a scene with other people, like she'll make a turn or an eye roll or like a side comment or kind of like an under the breath. It's so funny. I'm totally fascinated by her as a creative person. I like binged the first 4 episodes and literally had to stop myself because I could have just sat there all night and watched all of it. There's 2 seasons that are on Amazon right now, but it literally, so she is, I don't know how old she's supposed to be, 30 something, I think, like in London and struggling. So she owns this cafe that's not really doing well. She's coping with a little bit of tragedy. She's got like an ex-boyfriend who's in and out. She's sort of constantly like meeting men, looking for men. Her sister presumably like has it all. She's married, she's got money. Their mom passed away a few years ago. Their dad is married to their godmother, who is played by Olivia Colman, who I absolutely love, from Broadchurch. She's going to be Queen Elizabeth in The Crown. The Favorite, which I haven't seen yet, but I love her. So there's like such a great mix of actors and people who've worked together. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Like, it's like laugh out loud funny for me. It is the perfect antidote to any bad day. So if you have a good sense of humor about things, definitely check it out. But like I said, this is not going to be one for everyone. There's language, there's sex, there's drinking, there's a lot of inappropriate humor. It puts it all out there and I love it. I was also super excited to find out that Amazon Prime has Crossing Jordan, which was a TV show that I loved back in the day. And it's Jill Hennessy plays Jordan Kavanaugh, who is a medical examiner in Boston. And this is back when I was living in Boston, so I think that's also kind of why I love it. So there's so much familiarity in, they don't shoot in Boston, of course, but they show the scenes and all the cutaways and things like that. But it is sort of the group of characters who work in the medical examiner's office in Boston, and then, you know, their connection with the Boston police. And they, you know, solve crimes. And she, of course, is like, you know, helps the police solve the crimes and the mysteries. And it is like at times dark, but at times humorous. There's usually like 2 storylines going on at once, like sort of a major crime plot and then like a subplot. But they get like tons of interesting guest stars who are on it. I just really enjoy the stories, I enjoy the characters, I enjoy the actors. They had done some crossover episodes with that TV show Las Vegas. This is another show that I love, which is not available to stream anywhere. You can't even like buy the episodes on iTunes. You have to like try and get old DVDs or something from Amazon. But that was that Josh Duhamel show set in Vegas, obviously, which I loved. But Crossing Jordan has been so much fun to watch. I just love the cases. Like I said, Jerry O'Connell's in it. Ivan Sergey was on it at one stage of the game. Catherine Hahn is in it, who has gone on to do so many other like incredible, amazing things. But it's just, it's a good series. It is medical related. So if you're not someone who likes kind of like seeing the autopsies and things like that, probably not for you. So it's a little bit police drama, a little bit crime, a little bit mystery. But then you also get into family, you know, and some of their personal lives. But all in, it's great. I feel like the entire series might be on there, but I am loving reliving that life. Now, for some reason, I am not like huge on watching movies these days. Don't ask me why. But I finally watched A Star is Born with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga. And I don't know if it's because there was so much hype about this for so long that my expectations were like here, but I didn't think it was all that amazing. And I like feel awful saying it. Like, I love Bradley Cooper. I love Lady Gaga. I love them together. But I was like, the movie didn't grab me the whole time. Like, this is one of those movies where like, I kind of like kept getting up to like go to the kitchen or to go pick something up, or felt like I kind of wanted to check my email or something. Like, I wasn't like totally invested. So I feel like I was fully invested at the beginning. So I'm not going to spoil anything, but like, I don't think it's spoilery to say. So like, Bradley Cooper's character is this super successful singer-songwriter, and he kind of discovers Lady Gaga's character at a bar one night. And she, of course, has like this amazing voice and this amazing talent, and she's a singer-songwriter, but she is sort of, you know, working 10 jobs to sort of rub some pennies together, and lives with her dad, who I didn't know, sidebar in the embarrassing category, until the credits rolled, that it was freaking Andrew Dice Clay. Like, I didn't even realize it was him. I didn't even realize it was him. Like, I remember him from Pretty in Pink and that whole stage of his life, like when he was the Dice Man. So like, this completely, this is how much I feel like I wasn't paying attention, that I didn't pick up on Andrew Dice Clay. But anyway, so basically, you know, it is this sort of fantasy story where he just sort of like sweeps her out of her existence and backstage passes, and she, you know, sort of writes this song off the cuff when they are sitting in a parking lot together, and it's the song that becomes the song Shallow, and he drags her out on stage in front of this huge crowd of people, and they sing it together, and it's magic, and it's chemistry, and it is just soulmates of the musical kind, and off they go, and, you know, her life is forever changed. And what I loved about this was that whole part of the story of them together, writing together, performing together. Shallow is such an incredible song. Completely brings me to my knees every time I hear them sing it. And I absolutely loved that part of the movie. Like, I was in for it. And I get the entire thing is like, A Star is Born, it's her, and she sort of gets taken off on this ride and, you know, pulled away from him and becomes a star in her own right, which he's super supportive of. But I just, like, I didn't like kind of who her character turned into, I would say, in the sense that, like, I kind of felt like she should have been that Stevie Nicks singer-songwriter, and she went into, like, she became kind of like Lady Gaga. But she had very established, you know, opinions on what she wanted, but she was a new artist, so she couldn't sort of flex all of her muscle, but I feel like she caved in a lot of things. And I wasn't sure if, like, I don't know, I feel like if they made her, I kind of felt like at one point I had like changed the channel and I was watching like a Lady Gaga movie. And when she was with him and sort of more kind kind of singer-songwriter on stage with him, I felt like I forgot that she was Lady Gaga, but then I spent the rest of the movie being very conscious of who she was, and I was like waiting for her to sing Poker Face, if that makes sense. So I wish that they had made her more against type, so to speak, of who her outside persona is, and I think that's what I found distracting. So all in, I'm glad I didn't pay for it and I got it for free through Fios with my credits on Fios. And I enjoyed it like to a degree, but I wasn't as riveted, I think, as some other people were. So I don't know, maybe I'm cynical, maybe I just wasn't in the mood, but I love Bradley Cooper. I listen to Shallow constantly. I pretend I have her voice when I sing it, which I don't. So yeah, that was kind of A Star Is Born. I'd be curious if anyone else feels the same way. Or if I'm just, you know, here we go again, just wasn't for me type of a thing. So I have been pretty good about not buying new books lately. I did show you guys in my May wrap-up that I did pick up 2 more of those Patricia Cornwell books from that series. And in all fairness, again, I didn't own one of them, and you can't get them at the library or online by me. At least I couldn't find them, and I wanted the series to match, so shoot me. But I also picked up, finally, Daisy Jones and the Six. And I shouldn't say finally, I ordered it a while ago, but I'm finally showing it to you guys. And yes, this is the UK cover. Yes, this is the one I wanted. This is no disrespect to the US one, but I saw, it might have been Emma from Drinking by My Shelf who showed this version of it, and I was like, holy crap, that's beautiful. And it's got like the cool ticket stubs on the inside. So I just thought this was like a stunning version of the book. I needed to have this one and I got it. I haven't read it yet. I am pacing myself a little bit and saving it a little bit. I did just read Evidence of the Affair, which is the novella she did. It's, I don't know, it's like 100-ish pages, a little bit more than that. So I got a little bit of a fix. I loved it, by the way. She has an Easter egg in that where she mentions Daisy Jones, which I love. And I realized that like when she wrote that, this wasn't out yet, so people might not have picked up on it at all. But anyway, it's just, that is one, not to go off topic of this, but here we go for a second. Evidence of the Affair is written back and forth in letters from a woman who discovers her husband is having an affair, and she writes to the husband of the woman he's having the affair with to be like, hey, I don't know if you know this, but I just discovered a bunch of letters from your wife and she's having an affair with my husband. And it follows their correspondence back and forth. And there's multiple things I loved about it. I'm not going to tell you anything else about the story, just read it basically. But what I loved is like, now that I've dipped a little bit further back into Taylor Jenkins Reid, you can start to see the evolution of her writing and how she was experimenting with different things. So she went from kind of writing straight up contemporary, and she's sort of, I feel like dual timelines has been something she's experimented with a lot. But then Evelyn Hugo with the interview style between Evelyn and the reporter in current day, and then sort of the flashbacks, historical fiction piece that she goes into in the Hollywood exploration. And then Evidence of the Affair is written all in correspondence and letters. And then, as has been well documented, Daisy Jones is all told in interview format with a reporter in the band. And I love seeing Taylor Jenkins Reid experiment with different things and see her trying different ways of storytelling. So I'm super excited to get into this. I think I've already talked about how like I've got my Fleetwood Mac good to go. I've been listening to it. I've been getting in the headspace. So I am going to pick this up. I think I'm going to do it in July because I have a couple things. I'm doing Buzzword-a-thon in June. I'm going to be away for a little bit, and I'm just not going to carry a hardcover book across the country with me. So we're going to call this one July and see what happens. But I'm so excited to have it in my presence, and she's beautiful. So that's a little smattering of what's been going on here. I will keep you guys posted on how things go with Buzzword-a-thon. I posted my TBR for that, which by the time this video goes up Buzzwordathon might even actually be over. So we'll see how that all goes. And then I am going to California at the end of this month. So I will let you guys know how that goes. I've already looked up a couple bookstores in the area that I want to check out. I don't think I'm going to vlog because I'm not really a vlogger, but we'll see. I'm obviously going to take a bunch of pictures and I don't know. Either way, I'll let you guys know how that trip goes. But let me know what you're up to, what you're reading, what you're watching. I didn't really talk about music. I haven't downloaded any new music lately. But let me know what you're listening to. Maybe I'm missing out on some music also. And I'll keep you guys posted on what's going on here. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.